Hey, Scarefest fans, this is Joe Lewis, Bonehead Weekly. Red Letter Media does something called Review, Review. And I was hoping to go see the new Conjuring movie this week, and I didn't get a chance to see it, but that's okay. I want to review something that came out in 1996, and some of you may have seen it, some of you may have not. One of my favorite movies that's just stupid as hell, but I just love it, even though it's really dumb, but it's so much fun, is Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight. In fact, I'm a huge Tales from the Crypt fan, and I've talked about that Tales from the Crypt on here before. But what I really like to discuss is the sequel to that, but not really a sequel. And we got Bordello of Blood. Now, what I couldn't figure out is why Bordello of Blood sucks so bad. Stars Dennis Miller, Erica Leniak, Chris Sarandon, Angie Everhart. And it's the same writers, same production people. They use the same, except for the director and the actors. How does a movie suck that bad 1 year later? Well, this is what gets interesting for me, and I'm going to do something a little different with this one. I find the stories behind making movies fascinating, especially when they're crazy. They had a whole other movie planned, it was greenlit, and it was ready to go. And they were location scouting. When they got the call saying, stop spending money, we're not doing that. Why did they do that? Robert Zemeckis was being courted by DreamWorks in the 90s to maybe go over there, and Universal did not want to lose their golden boy, Robert Zemeckis, the guy that gave you Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future. What could we do? Well, his writing partner, Bob Gale, said, "Oh, I know what you can do. You can buy our student screenplay from the 70s. Yeah, it's a little exploitation film called Bordello of Blood about vampires in the whorehouse." They ended up giving them $500,000 for this. Well, Universal was pissed that they were sitting on spending $500,000 for a screenplay. Well, they didn't want to waste the money. What should we do? Oh, we'll just make it a new Tales from the Crypt. So 2 weeks out from shooting, they make them do the movie. Well, the thing is no, they had to rewrite it, and it just went downhill from there. How does Dennis Miller end up in the starring role of this? Well, producer Joel Silver thought, "Oh, I want Dennis Miller." No one else wanted Dennis Miller. And then there's Angie Everhart, but she's terrible in this. She's just awful. Apparently, she wasn't that hard to work with. The only reason she got the role was because she was in headlines at the time for having in a relationship with Sylvester Stallone. Erica Leniak probably gets away with one of the better performances in this movie. If you don't know who Erica Leniak is, think Under Siege and think of Coming Out of a Cake. Somehow or another, Chris Sarandon is as another one of the bad guys, and Chris Sarandon is a fantastic actor. He's not great in this. Nothing about this movie works. There's a ton of nudity. Has Corey Feldman given another one of those overtop crazy performances? If you haven't seen Bordello of Blood and you have Shudder, it's on there with Demon Knight. Should you go back and watch it? Absolutely not. But if you get time, you should totally check out a podcast called You Should Never Make a Movie That Way. And one of the whole episodes is dedicated to Bordello of Blood and how everything went wrong. They went to shoot it in Toronto in the summer. Well, what's the problem with shooting a night movie in the summer? Summer days are longer. They couldn't get all their shots in. They would only have 5 or 6 hours of actual night. They didn't have time to shoot the night shots. $1 million of what went into special effects ended up for no apparent reason going to Dennis Miller. Why they paid him $1 million is beyond me. It does have some funny scenes in it, but it's just so uneven. It makes no sense. I encourage you, if you've never seen it, to watch it, especially if you're a Tales from the Crypt fan. There were supposed to be three of these movies, not connected, just different ones. They did do a voodoo film where they basically was another movie that they called a Tales from the Crypt film that just went straight to tape years later. You probably never heard of it. It has Tim Curry in it, where they just shot the Crypt Keeper opening and ending of the segments, and that's it. Bordello of Blood. It's not very good. It has a lot of topless people in it. That's not bad, I guess. For me,